Originally, this tree was a very, very tall tree that was very spread out and very graceful, had a beautiful shape. It was just like God's gift to this world. And sometime in July, they trimmed that tree. It's looking better now because it's starting to grow, but it will never, ever look like it did before, because that took a long, long time to grow like that. This is a protected tree, by the way. It has a label on it, but now because green things are growing, you cannot see the label. But it's supposed to be a protected tree. Before the destruction, I couldn't see the river. I couldn't see the water. I couldn't see the house because there were so many big trees growing along the bank of the river. And the big trees were covering this old house from this side. And all of this was just left as a desert. But it's all growing back now because it's been several months. But you have to understand that the trees here were so tall that I couldn't see the cars in that car park across the way. I couldn't see a lot of those buildings because the trees were tall.
So you even cannot see through.
I couldn't see the cars there. Of course, I could see the tall buildings.
Okay. So you didn't have the previous photo or anything?
I do have one or two, but not so extensive. Yeah.
If you have one or two, could you show me?
That's hard because I have a bunch of so many things.
Okay.
It's hard to find.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you like to go to the rooftop and see the house from the roof?
Yeah. Okay.
Here? Yeah, we could hear the water, but we couldn't see. We couldn't see the water. We could just hear the water running in the river. We couldn't see the rocks. We couldn't see any of that because of all the trees along the riverside.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that turn on now?
Yes.
As you can see, this house is very beautiful. It's in the old style. It's big, it's huge, and it has a courtyard. So you can see the trees growing in the center there. Inside it's very lovely. And this was an idyllic place here along the river. It was shaded with all those trees. And after the destruction, the summertime was so hot, and the poor old man was left living inside that house with all the heat coming down on top of the roof. So you can imagine how he must have suffered. This house should be preserved. This house is in Taipei's last remaining jungle. There's no other jungle like this in all of Taipei City. So this should be preserved as a historical building, as the old jungle should also be preserved. Once the trees come down, it's going to just be a cement jungle.
So we didn't see the dog?
No. And you see two trees over there, they have labels on. 21 trees have been marked. They have been marked as old trees that cannot be destroyed. But the Shilin Company already destroyed 5 of the 26 trees. 26 trees on this land were supposed to be preserved, but they didn't have labels. So when the Shilin Company came in here, they destroyed 5. And the penalty they paid per tree was between 50,000 NT and 70,000 NT. So the total that they paid was 300,000 NT dollars. But they say that they didn't. They didn't pay the money. They didn't pay the money because they don't own this land. They didn't do anything wrong, so the owner was the one that paid, just so the Shilin Company would look like it didn't do anything wrong. But actually, they're the ones that destroyed the trees. They trimmed a lot of these trees back. As you can see, this tree over here, you can see where the branches have been cut. That tree was much bigger before.
Oh.
Oh, is that a dog there?
Where?
In there. Is that the dog there?
No.
Yes, there, yeah. Or is
Where?
that a cat?
Where?
Right there. In there. See, walking.
Oh,
right,
yes.
walking.
Yes.
That's, I think I have to go over there and see if they have food. Oh my God. The poor animal.
Try sing.
It's so thin. It's so thin. The old man loved those dogs. And one night, the old man came back to get some of his belongings from the house. According to the old lady neighbor in this building, she said the dogs were so happy. They were wagging their tails and they were so happy to see the old man. But then he left. That's the white dog. There's also a brown dog. We need to find homes for those animals. They need to have love. They need to have care. This is not the way to treat poor animals. They don't have their master any longer, and the shielding company doesn't give a damn about what happens to them. They didn't give a damn about these trees, and they don't care about those dogs either.
I just saw one dog.
Poor thing. And you know, it was so cold during Chinese New Year. So cold with the rain pouring down. Can you imagine those poor animals with no home, no shelter?
Do they have a house? A dog house?
No, not really. They can just kind of go into one of the areas there, but it's all full of junk and rubble. But they can find a little place to go under the roof. I'm sure they love the old man because they must have been here for a long time with him. This tree that you're taking a picture of, every winter all the leaves fall off, and in the springtime it all grows back together again, so it's all very, very green. But because we've had kind of a mild winter, it's strange that we still have the yellow leaves on that tree. But normally by this time that tree would be pretty bare.
I didn't see much branch of that tree. Did they have been cut down? Because you can see the whole tree. It's only the top of the branch.
I know, I'm thinking, I can't remember how it was before, because I really didn't take pictures. It was so thick. All of this, it was just really, really wild and thick.
Because
so many trees. So probably, maybe it was thicker. That's what I think.
Because only the top.
Yes,
only
I know.
the top,
yes.
1/4 of the top have
Right.
the branch.
Right.
Others, you didn't see any branch.
No.
That's very unusual.
Yes.
I think they have been cut down, but I
think
don't
so.
know where.
They trimmed a lot of the trees out. They trimmed a lot. They cut a lot of branches.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.